What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here in Lost at Sea. And tonight, I am joined again on the pod, on the channel here, by the season one winner of the inaugural season here on Ascendance Live. I'm here with Edmund. Edmund, how are
hmm
you? What's going on? What's been up?
Not much. School, work, winning us on the chaos.
Oh my
Um,
goodness, I forgot to congratulate you on that. Congratulations. The
thanks.
three-peat.
hmm yeah, I went to Florida recently. That was fun. Yeah, not too much.
Not too much. Florida, a lot of good fun there,
Got
but
this beautiful hat there
wait,
that I
white
picked
girl
up,
wasted. I feel like
that
the
I
last
picked
time
up
we
off.
spoke on the channel, you had one of those kind of hats on.
I was acting like one of those hats. Yes, for sure. But yeah, got this in an Uber somehow. So
That's awesome. That obviously there's probably a story behind that that maybe not safe for this channel, but
I
let's
don't
talk.
remember
Who
it.
knows? Who knows? Who knows what happened? But Edmund, let's talk about one of the most exciting episodes I think of the season here on, Ascendance Live 4. We got a pendant play finally in this game. And we see, a big dog going home. We see Josh, exiting in a Revo. So what did you think of this entire move here?
I think the whole Chris G sliding Rachel the Idol was kind of obvious because you get one still of Chris G in the room saying, I need to like play this and like I can either just let it go to waste or play this. And obviously, if you're in Ascendance and you're at this point of the game, you want to start making those moves. You want to start building your resume, and then no sign of Chris G for the rest of the episode. So I definitely was like waiting for it, especially because they didn't show much of Rachel either. And then like all of a sudden at the end, Rachel started to cry, and I didn't know if that was just dramatics or if it was just like everything catching up to her, but I definitely saw that coming. I did not see Josh leaving though. So that was a big surprise, especially with a pendant in his pocket.
Edmund, it seemed like when Chris G came back into the game, he was a little bit mad at Rachel. Are you surprised that he decides to save her here? Obviously, she's got the majority of the votes. He's aware of it, and he saves her. Surprised at that?
No. um, because he tried so hard to save her last round. Chris was really the ultimate swing last round, and Christopher was the ultimate swing last round. And ultimately, he was the one that told Taisha, no, we're not going to vote Rachel out this round. He kept saying we don't have the numbers, but I didn't really understand that because they did have the numbers with Christopher. So I don't know if he was just saying that to make sure Rachel stayed or not. I'm still a little confused about that. But Christy was very adamant about saving Rachel last round, so this didn't really surprise me.
Yeah, and we are now aware that this pendant was only good up until this round, so he didn't want to burn a hole in his pocket. It seems like Chris G is not one to let powers go to waste. Would you say that's safe to say?
Yeah, plus, I mean, ultimately, why would you let it go to waste when you could build some sort of capital with it and add a move to your resume and have an ally moving forward? So I think it was a smart move.
Say you were in Chris G's position and you gave Rachel the breakdown on, what he thinks is happening and what he wants to happen, in giving the power. He says, just go with Eli. Would you be mad that Rachel voted for Josh instead?
Um, I'd be I'd side eye a little bit because like I just saved you, so why didn't you make the move I wanted to make? But ultimately, cheers to Rachel for making her own move because in my opinion, this idol or this pendant play is Chris G's move, right? So I feel like Rachel kind of had to make it sort of her own as well because otherwise it was just Chris G saving her and she did what Chris G wanted her to do ultimately. So it's a balance.
Would you say now this is definitely Rachel's move?
It's a balance still, I think. I think the pendant is Chris G, the Josh move is Rachel's, but it was kind of funny because as soon as flash to Josh in the confessional saying, all my allies are on this team. I'm going to stay safe in the revote. I knew he was toast. So can't ever go wrong with Papa's foreshadowing.
Yes. Were you let's kind of break down this revote here. So we have Rachel, who obviously is safe, will be voting, and it's a tie between Eli and Josh. So those two are not voting. Um, I think the other person was Michael, who was on Josh's side, right? Was there a second vote for Eli here
It
in the
was three
revote?
to two.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, I don't know who voted where, because that confessional mic, that voting confessional mic,
Yeah.
she's the
Gotta
villain of
gotta
the
throw
season.
that one out. Definitely get it.
She's the
Yeah.
villain of the season because I like have my ear up to the speaker trying to listen to who voted for who. But usually I just ask Papa and he tells me how it happened.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm not too sure actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, safe to assume Michael was on the side to save Josh. And it seemed I would guess maybe Adam was the other person to save Josh here, just because he was kind of he really wanted to vote Eli out.
Hmm.
So when he had the option to in the revotes, he did so. Maybe he did it first off, in the regular votes. So maybe he just followed through with it. Um, but do you think there was anything Josh could have done to save himself here once once he was put in this position? Was it
See,
he toast?
that's why also I don't know if Adam did vote Eli again because Adam, you kind of get that scene with Adam and Taisha where like Adam is like swearing like I'm with you. So I don't know if Adam flipped to save good graces with Taisha and like just kind of said like, oh, like this is for me, if it's between Eli and Josh, I feel like Eli's going to be easier to get out later on to where if I have the shot, the time to take a shot at Josh perfectly right there lined up for me, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah. What do you think of, Rachel plays the pendant, obviously, and Josh holding on to his and not playing it? Do, were you like you got to play it there, or do you think he was just too confident in the fact that Eli was the secondary target?
Honestly, I would have been too. I was sitting looking at my TV screen and I was like, Josh, don't play it. So obviously, I was just in the dark as Josh was.
Yeah, that's got to be brutal. Got to be
Because
brutal.
I don't think there was any talks at all about Josh. I don't know if it was like a last minute flip with Rachel, but so yeah.
But it's got to be like, at this point, Michael, Adam, Taylor, and now Rachel are safe. You know, it's just you, Eli, and
Stacy.
Stacy who can receive votes. It's
Hmm.
still a little risky not to play
That's
that thing.
true. But Josh is a risky player.
Listen, he is.
No risk, no reward, but there's no reward in this episode.
Never were in this episode. Josh eliminated. So I think this is definitely going to shake things up. Something also that's going to be shaking things up is he publicly wills his pendant that he found in the pool to Michael.
Hmm.
Do you think
Hmm.
Michael is going to follow through and just play it the next time he's vulnerable?
Um, I think if Michael plays it smart, he can bluff it well. Plus, we don't know if we're going into individuals after this because we're at the final 10 now. My guess is no. I would say one more round before we go to individuals. But I would try and hold on to it as long as I can and use it as leverage. But I guess the more he bluffs it, the more he loses trust with people. And I don't really know if Michael has a home with the remaining players. So I would use it as leverage with the people still in, with the connections, with the alliances, and be like, hey, I can help this and use it for you. Just loop me in. Just like include me a little bit, maybe. Because I can tell Michael's starting to get like a little frustrated.
Where does Michael go from here? Obviously, he just recently lost his partner. His partner really didn't want much to do with him in the beginning, anyways. But he's got, this public pendant of power. He just voted incorrectly twice. So where does Michael go from here?
I don't know. I guess nowhere but up because I don't know if he can go any lower. Actually, he's not doing that bad. I'm being dramatic, but I just because there's Adam who's very vocal in saving Rachel, right? And like with Rachel comes Erica, and then Chris G just saved Rachel. So like that's gonna be a bit of a foursome with Taylor Clark probably. That's an alliance I could see happening. I hope Taisha and Eli don't fall for Adam's bullshit, which I don't think they will. But I'm not sure they're gonna win the war. To where I feel like Michael is just kind of an outlier right now, and they're gonna need Michael as a number, especially in a team setting. So I would just kind of play that up if I were Michael,
So you kind of said you maybe see a war brewing here.
for sure.
You mentioned a side, with Adam, Rachel, Chris G, Lupin, Taylor there, and then Eli and Taisha. Are we thinking that that side maybe tries to pull in Michael? Stacy has mentioned wanting to work with Taisha and Eli. Where does Chris fall in here? Does Chris follow that side with, Eli and Taisha, do you think?
See, I think this is where I think Christopher made the wrong move in saving Rachel last round. Because I do think Christopher's lower on the totem pole with them, especially after Erica pleaded for the idol this round, which was half of hers. And he just kind of said no. Um, so I don't know how Erica feels about that. But obviously I feel like she'll kind of trust him less because of that. So I hope Christopher makes the right decision because I think he has a better shot working with Taisha, Eli, Stacy, than the other group.
Do you think he kind of feels a little bit obligated to work with Erica now just based on this pendant and kind of maybe work with that side?
I think he wants to work with Erica just because they have an emotional connection. They're both very like emotional, spiritual beings. Like they care about the relationships they make. Um, so I feel like he's gonna make more emotional decisions.
Yeah, yeah. Edmund, I wanted to ask you, there was a little bit of a flashback here in this episode to your season when we got a glimpse of Michael Davis being not on a team and his fate
Mm-hmm.
being left up in the air. Were you like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, is this going to happen again?
It would be so camp. Like honestly, it would be so ironic. But I want to touch on the whole partners thing. I don't understand why these people aren't targeting their duo. I get it if like you're an original duo, but these people that are losing their partner very early on, at that point, I lost my partner. So one, why am I not securing safety by getting them voted out? And two, why am I not wanting to spread myself out around all the other duos to get all the information I can? And then I'm like forced to work with this side and then forced to work with that side. It's like that's like your best way to garner information. So I don't understand why people aren't taking more advantage of that strategy.
It's something that Nicole actually brought up last episode, was, kind of letting your partner hit the road and you being safe for the next round because it's the same
Mm-hmm.
pattern, the past 4 or 5 times. Um, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. Nobody has figured that out or wanted to try that.
The good thing also is you get to vote. So like you're also in those talks of the vote and you're safe. So you can be assertive and make your moves. I don't know. I thought more people would want to pick up on that strategy, but I don't think they have at all.
Yeah, and it seems like it might be nearing the end of this team, the duos phase. You think that not next episode, but potentially at 9, this is going to get into an individual phase.
Yes, I could see that. Um, just because they did put Chris G and Michael together, but also they could just be waiting to be like next round, okay, individuals. Um, yeah, but I still think we have one more.
Now, the question I wanted to follow up with was a lot during this episode was discussed about the original pairs, like the people that have been partners from the beginning. If it gets to it at 9 and these three are still still partners in the game, is that going to be bad for them? That's probably going to be bad for them, would you say?
Probably just because also I think these three pairs have been the most dominant in terms of winning competitions, being social. Um, and driving kind of this narrative of how the season has been going. I feel like these stragglers who have been losing their duos have kind of been side characters to the plot, if that makes sense, because I feel like they're nervous to make a move when they don't have that stability and like comfort of their original person that they were with. Um, to where I feel like these original duos kind of are okay with just being assertive in what they want because that's how they've had to play the entire game, where all these other people have had to change up their strategy. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I don't know which original duo I'm rooting for. Which original duo are you rooting for?
For me, it's Eli and Taisha, just because I think those are they're the ones that I feel like are viewed as underdogs at this point compared to, Adam and Taylor and Erica and Rachel. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that those, like you said, Taisha and Eli are not going to want work with Adam, those other originals where they probably
Mm-hmm.
will work together.
Mm-hmm. I think we're at the point of the game where everyone's kind of burning out. So, I mean, you see a lot of distress and crying this episode. Erica, Taisha was like kind of over it. Eli was a bit over it. Rachel started crying at the end. Um, so it's interesting to see because I feel like this is kind of the point of the game where you need to like step into the laundry room by yourself for a second and kind of have the mental check-in of like, okay, we're this far. We can't give up now.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why I worry about Erica because it's reminding me of season one where she just kind of got she got really overwhelmed and she just kind of like gave up. And I don't want her to do that here because I think she has a great shot of getting to the end.
Are you concerned at all with Erica in this episode? Her not just her being a little bit emotional, but her like unwillingness to let Rachel go. Do you think that um that unwillingness to let, Rachel go in the future will hurt her?
Um, Possibly. I think that people will still view Rachel as a bigger threat. But I think the reason why Erica doesn't want to let Rachel go is because, like I said, Erica really cares about like the emotional bonds and connections and relationships she makes. And from personal experience, every time I play with Erica, no matter how many times I've done her dirty, she is always loyal to me because she cares about me, right? So it's like Erica's just that type of person. She doesn't care about the game. She cares more about her actual relationship with people, to where I don't think she would want to tarnish that because of a game. So I think it might hurt her in that way, but not because of Rachel specifically.
Yeah, I just asked that because I feel like, you know, it might like there might be a point where it's strategically good for, Erica to cut ties with Rachel, maybe
Mm-hmm.
once it gets closer to the end and kind of just to lower her threat level, maybe, or maybe Rachel becomes a person that is really threatening to take to the end. And maybe I worry about Erica's willingness to let that go based off of what you said. And
Mm-hmm.
it might be to her detriment in the game, though.
Yeah, I don't think she'll cut Rachel.
Yeah.
I hope she like pulls out cutthroat Erica and like has that mental check-in I was talking about and just like kind of gets herself together and like says stop it. Um, because if it makes the most sense for her game, I want her to do it because I want to see Erica go to the end. Uh, I just don't know if she will.
Yeah. We'll have to see. But Edmund, who else are you rooting for? Obviously, Erica. Are you rooting for Michael, your season one compadre as well?
I'm really proud of Michael, so I am rooting for him, especially because he's kind of the underdog right now. I just want to see if he's able to take over the game. Um, Personally, right now, in terms of winner equity, if I were to vote for someone, I would vote for Adam Michael Kennedy. Um, I feel like he's almost being a little too assertive. So I think it might bite him in the ass these next few rounds. But if he gets through if he gets to like 8 or 7, I think he has a good chance of going to the end.
What You said that you think he might be a little bit too aggressive here these past couple rounds. He seems to be trying to push narrative. Well, I mean, here's a good example of him kind of like holding back. He really wanted to go for Eli here to save Rachel, but kind of held back once he got that resistance. Do you think as the game heats up that
Did he
he
though?
kinda
Did he though? I think he tried once, twice, and then kind of like three strikes, he knew he was out.
yeah
Um, so it wasn't like the first time it like, and then he stopped. I think he just kind of tried and tried and tried, and then he realized if he tries anymore, it's going to be a little too much,
yeah
especially because everyone's kind of breaking down now, but I don't feel like people are being super pushy with things. Um, Adam was just kind of giving me a very pushy vibe this episode. Like, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do it. We need to do it now. To where everyone's still like discussing options and weighing pros and cons. You know what I mean? Adam's like, no, I want this and I want it now. And then he kind of realized he can't have his way. So yeah,
it didn't really bite him in the ass here because he was safe, right? But do you think
right.
he pulls this on a round where he's not safe? Maybe Adam leaves. Maybe Adam's the one that gets voted out.
Um, I mean, hopefully he's a little smarter if he's on the chopping block. Not that he wasn't smart this episode. Um, because like I said earlier, like if you don't have a duo and you're in the votes, you can be more assertive with pushing a narrative. So that's what Adam was doing this episode. Um, but I think Adam has a solid enough foundation. I think he really just only has to worry about Eli and Taisha, especially because if I'm Eli in this moment, I also don't know why Eli wasn't being more assertive this round, especially since he was kind of left in the dark last round. When who went home? Oh, when Eric went
Eric.
home. When Eric went home, because he was just like, I feel fine. I think I trust everyone, and Rachel's gonna go home, and that's that. So that's where I kind of need Eli to pick up the speed a little bit because I felt like that should have been his sign to be like, hey, like let's get into it. And he still was just kind of nonchalant this episode, which ultimately almost had him go home.
Yeah.
So I need Eli to pick up the speed. I need him to realize Adam hates his guts, wants him gone, and he needs to kind of start this anti-Adam train. And I think with Taisha being fed up, I feel like that's how this is going to start going into early individuals.
Do you think Eli has that play in his playbook though, the ability to kind of go on the offensive? It seems like Eli's a really, chill, social, pretty aware sometimes strategically of what's going on, but do you think he has that oomph in him to go push a vote that he needs, that he wants to happen?
I'd like to believe so, but I don't know.
We haven't seen it yet, right?
Um, right. So I don't know. I'd like to believe so, but I don't think so as of now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he'll talk and like try, but I think he kind of needs to go into Adam mode and be like, this is what we need to
Yeah.
do.
Right.
And I just don't know if he's going to be that aggressive with it.
Yeah. And it'll be definitely more interesting to see Eli in an individual setting as well. I think
Hmm.
a lot of these players, the game will change once that happens, whenever that happens. Uh, but I mean, anything else with this episode or the season at all that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about?
I guess just one last thing on Eli is I think it showed a lot that he stayed in the Revo here because I feel like Eli's done a better job at making those one-on-one connections that are really going to save your ass going into the end game. Um, because that's you can only have so many alliances. You can have as many alliances as you want. You should have 5,000 alliances, depending on how the teams break down, right? But what's going to save your ass at the end of the day in Ascendance is those one-on-one connections. So I think that proved that he has those this round, which is good, especially because Adam was pushing it and they're all like, no.
Yeah.
Um, which should be a telltale sign to Adam, like, okay, now I really need to get Eli out.
Right.
Uh, because who knows if those allies are going to choose Eli over him. Although I don't think they will. I think they'll stay loyal to Adam. But overall, it's been a good season. I'm enjoying watching. Um, who are you rooting for? Who do you think is going to win?
I will say I was rooting pretty hard for Eric before he left. I think he just didn't have enough traction to get get people to get on his side. I was rooting for the husbands, mainly Jim. And now that those people are eliminated, I do like Rachel. I do like Erica, that duo. But I think I'm turning into a more of a Taisha fan now that she's a little bit pissed off at what's going on.
Hmm.
I think these next couple episodes might be very Taisha centered, so I'm excited to
Hmm.
see what she can cook up.
Who do you think is gonna win?
If I had to choose right now, I th I want to say Chris with a K.
Christopher?
Yeah. I think that he still is at the perfect level of threat level. I don't think many people are going to be going for him right now, which is, I think is perfect. And I still think he has a good enough relationships and agency at this point that he can still build on it and get deep into the game. And I think as soon as individuals start, he'll blossom into a big threat to win and potentially get there. What about you?
Yeah,
Who do you think?
I think he's in the best middle position right now.
Yeah, and that's where you want to be
Um,
right now in
yeah,
this
for
game.
sure, for sure. Like I said, I would vote for Adam in the end. If Adam keeps being assertive like this and people are being passive, they're gonna listen to Adam. If I were Adam, like he said, I didn't get my way the past three votes, right? Which sounds like typical Adam. But he thinks he's gonna get his way and then doesn't. um, no shade. He's one of my besties, so he knows what I mean. But I think this is where Adam should like kind of take a play out of my book and start playing the victim card a little bit and start kind of gaslighting these people and being like, hello, you know what I mean? And if he's able, like I said, to get through these like three rounds and he still has those really tight, that really tight core, I think he's gonna take it.
Yeah, my only concern with Adam is I think he can get far into the game. I think that if he gets to around 5 or even 4, I think nobody's going to want to bring him to the end. Nobody wants
Right.
to because the people that don't know Adam in this game will be like, I don't want to talk against him in the end. I don't want to have to do a speech against Adam in the end. And I just don't see people wanting to take him to the end. So that's my only concern with Adam.
That's why if Adam gets sniped at like 5, my winner pick is Chris G.
I, he's exciting. He's exciting.
I think his arc since he's been back has been building towards a late game arc. Um, and I think it'll work out for him if he gets there. Because if he's against someone like Erica or Rachel, say, I don't know if they will be able to outtalk Chris G in a finale.
Yeah, I but that's the only thing that I have. I worry similar to Adam in a different way, like, and in a similar way. I don't think people are going to want to let Chris G get to the end or anywhere close to the end because he's got the story of coming back. He's got
Hmm.
the idol. Not everybody knows about the idol play, but he has that, and I don't think they want to talk against him in the end. So,
Hmm.
but we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
We'll see. But
But
I am
as
rooting for like Eli, Taisha, Christopher. I just think it's gonna go the other way. But
okay,
just have to clear that up.
we'll see. We'll see. But as always, Edmund, such a great time talking to you. We love your insights. And yeah, appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.